Welcome to MMO Grinder Sidequest, where I take a look at early open or closed betas, subscription trials, and simpler titles, giving you a quick first impression. Today I'll be looking at Triad Wars, an asynchronous online multiplayer game brought to us by Square Enix and taking place within the same universe of Sleeping Dogs. Now that the closed beta has ended and some serious changes were made, let's look into the title and see why I refuse to call it an MMO. The game's graphics are pretty good for what's essentially Grand Theft Auto meets Farmville, but more on that later. If you're thinking the game looks exceptionally foggy right now, though, and that weird eye-glowing effect is a bit out of place, then you happen to catch me doing this first impressions video during the Halloween event. I've been playing since closed beta, and rest assured, the game doesn't always look like this. For the most part, it's all pretty smooth and clean, save for a rather frustrating camera issue that might pop up at the worst possible times. The combat is visceral as hell, and it's well translated by the game's graphics. Blood flies everywhere and stains surfaces as you bash enemies' heads into various forms of furniture and concrete. Special mention goes to some absolutely brutal environmental kills, such as smashing someone's head through a ventilation fan, roasting their faces alive on a grill, or in some of the most wincingly painful deaths that you can dish out, impaling them on a pallet of swordfish heads or a broken section of pipe. Also, if you drag an enemy over to a table that has a screwdriver on it, nothing good can possibly come of it for them. Don't go into this with a weak stomach. Music runs an interesting selection. Getting into any vehicle will grant you an eclectic choice of stations, featuring some GTA-like staples of rap, techno, metal, and pop, with some more interesting selections of chiptune music and traditional Chinese. The in-game music is usually pretty quiet unless conducting turf raids, where it can get intense to match the combat and the situation that you're in. The music itself goes for an intensely paced blend of heavy drum beats and classic Chinese instruments. There's also plenty of voice acting to go around, which some of it getting repetitive, and there's amusing quips from NPCs in both Chinese and English, as would be expected of Hong Kong. Again, I am really amiss to call this an MMO. Sure, I've seen plenty of people go ahead and just drop that word for simplicity's sake, but if you're expecting to log into a living world with other players running about to join up with or fight against, you'll be disappointed. If anything, this game plays like a single-player game that records your actions and equipment to place onto other players' games as rivals. In that sense, it is far more in common with a mobile game, Farmville, or the most fair comparison I can make, the mighty quest for epic loot, in which you go around raiding bases while maintaining your own. Unlike Mighty Quest, the world is a bit more interactive. It's a GTA/Sleeping Dogs-like city, where you can run over pedestrians, hijack cars, find side missions, and of course, run from the ever-psychic, supernaturally appearing police. The meat of the game comes in raids, in which you find a rival base, enter the somewhat instanced area, and attempt to take down the enemy rackets and the rival boss themselves, all before the cops can show up to bust you. This can lead to tricky situations, as early raids will seem all too simple to clear out, and later raids will have so many rackets to take down, with each individual racket taking far longer to complete as they get upgraded, that you'll have to focus your time on deciding whether you just want to take down certain rackets, go after the boss, or just escape with what goods you were able to steal. If you're not looking to cause mayhem or go base pillaging right away, you also have your own base and rackets to worry about, which is where the Farmville aspect comes in. Each racket will produce money and goods that you can use to upgrade your base further, making it harder for enemy bosses to raid them. Gaining goods also unlocks export missions, which are basically rail shooters in which you fire at enemy vehicles attempting to stop you from shipping your goods overseas. Completing them offers the best boost to money and rank status, known as face, but they're pretty much seen one, seen 'em all. The more successful you are at raiding, exporting, and defending against raids, the higher up in the Triad's rank you'll go. Just don't expect to stay that high up forever if you don't bother to maintain that status. You can upgrade your character as well through a variety of weapons and unlocks, but the system was changed from a fairly understandable points upgrade system to one based around collecting the favor cards and upgrade slots based on your rank within the Triads. So what's a favor card? These are unlocks that you earn throughout the game, but can also be purchased with gold in the cash shop. While I can hear the shouters of pay to win already, keeping in mind that beyond beating up on computer-controlled versions of other players, there's really not much to win here, and these work more for convenience sake. Want to make sure your base won't lose any of your hard-made bootleg PS4s? You can use a favor to protect the bootleg electronics racket from theft for a certain period of time. Those who raid you will still get theirs, but it won't be coming out of your inventory. Weapons are also found via favor cards, and even though you can purchase them, you'll find them all over the map as rewards for completing missions and raids. Gold can also be used to purchase a permanently unlocked vehicle if you don't want to just keep stealing them. Different outfits for your character will have no bearing on gameplay in the slightest, and if you still don't want to spend the money, the game offers several ways to earn gold without paying a dime. including the ability to launder money at your safe house or earn them through achievement-like missions. While I think a few of us would really like to see this game get some form of online co-op between friends at least, what we have now is a pretty simplistic but well put together game that serves people well if they're just looking for a casual drop in and out kind of fix. If you were expecting GTA Online or Sleeping Dogs 2, look elsewhere, but for the rest of us looking for a simple free-to-play single-player crime simulator, Triad Wars is interesting enough to check out. Triad Wars is available to download at triadwars.com. It may not be an MMO in any accepted sense of the term, but if you're interested in knowing more about the game once it's out of beta status, let me know in the comments and I'll see if I can't get some kind of video out again for the coming launch. This has been an MMO Grinder Sidequest, and it's time I logged out.